right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Weekend warm. When the temperatures soar and how that could impact some students heading back to school for the first time.
And the start of school can also mean the return of spreading germs. Our Verified team reveals which items the kids lug around are the germiest. And our top story tonight, hit and steal. Criminals causing an accident to steal your car.
Happening all over the country.
What you should do if you're in a crash.
Tonight, police are on the hunt for 3 masked men who bumped into a driver and then took off with his car. Good evening. I'm Ann Allred. Mike has the night off. The brazen crime happened early this morning in Webster Groves on South Elm. Tonight, our Brent Solomon is live with a look at a growing trend of criminals taking advantage of you when you least expect it. Brent?
And those criminals getting to work early this morning. We're talking 6 in the morning. Now investigators here at WashU are working with city police and possibly a county agency to catch some crafty crooks. It started at 6 Wednesday morning. A construction worker walking in a parking lot near Duncan and Boyle Avenues when masked criminals in a stolen white Hyundai demanded his wallet and cell phone. He gave them over.
If somebody's holding a gun on you, the best idea is just to give them whatever they need, because you don't want to get into an argument with the guy that's holding the gun on you, because you might get shot, you know. And so what are you going to get shot for? Your wallet? Your watch? I mean, come on.
But wait, there's more. Less than 2 hours later, police in Webster Groves say someone driving a white Hyundai bumped into a black Dodge Caravan. The driver of the Caravan got out. That's when 3 male criminals got out the Hyundai, one of them pointing a gun at the other driver's head. That's when they ditched the stolen car and stole his Caravan.
Happening all over the country.
Personal safety expert Dr. Michael Barberi says this is becoming a trend.
Your instincts tell you to automatically get out of the car, right? Don't do it.
Because criminals are getting crafty, he says we have to rethink what we do when someone hits our car.
The new way of thinking is that if you get out, somebody's going to steal your car. And you walk back to the back of the car to see how bad the damage is, because there's no damage. These guys don't want to wreck the car. They don't want to steal it. So if you're in the car, you want to lock the doors, call 911, and if the guy doesn't see you get out of the car, the probability of him driving away is going to be extremely high.
All right, now I do want to tell you that white Hyundai was reported stolen out of St. Louis. Now investigators here at WashU believe that the same people involved in the robbery earlier in the day on Duncan are in that stolen Dodge Caravan from 2 hours later. Live in St. Louis, Brent Solomon, 5 on Your Side.
Another fall-like night across St. Louis. Temperatures will drop into the 60s, even the 50s in some areas. So open up the windows, maybe give that AC a break. Weather First Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell says the summer cool down, though, won't last long.
You know, it's not abnormal per se to get a few cooler days in July or August. It usually doesn't last, and this won't either. But we still have a couple more pretty comfortably warm days around the St. Louis area before we get back into that really hot, humid pattern going into early next week. There's a look out into St. Charles. Skies are mainly clear right now. Don't think we're going to see quite as much fog around early on Thursday morning as we did this morning. Temperatures, they've dropped back already into the upper 60s in the coolest spots. We are still in St. Louis right now, holding in the low to mid 70s under that mainly clear sky. Some kids are already going back to school. Sunrise tomorrow morning's at 6:17. 7 o'clock temperature is 67 degrees. Back into the 80s tomorrow afternoon. Really 80s heading into the first part of the weekend. It's comfortable into Saturday. The heat will really start building, though, on Sunday, and quite a dry stretch of weather ahead for the next several days. More on that and where it won't be dry in just a few minutes, Ann.
Tonight, a man shot by police hours ago in North St. Louis remains in the hospital. We first told you about the breaking news near Fairground Park this afternoon. Our Robert Townsend is live outside police headquarters downtown with more. Robert.
And police tell us their drug enforcement detectives shot the suspect after that suspect pointed a gun at officers. Investigators say Wednesday afternoon, detectives with St. Louis Police Department's Drug Enforcement and Interdiction Team and SWAT team members were hot on the trail of a known drug suspect.
They observed a transaction, followed the suspect, attempted to conduct a traffic stop for a violation. I believe it was a plate violation.
Police say within moments, the 21-year-old man sped down an alley, suddenly hopped out of this white car, and ran across a field near Linton Avenue in Penrose in the Fairground neighborhood.
DEI officer was right behind him, as well as several SWAT officers who had their body cameras on. It was at this point one of the SWAT officers observed that he was armed with a handgun with an extended magazine. So he yelled out over the radio, "He's got a gun, he's got a gun."
Police say the armed man kept running.
The detective who was following him was right behind him. He observed that the subject turned once behind him, pointing the gun in his direction. The officer did not discharge his weapon at that time.
But seconds later,
the subject ran a little bit further towards Linton, at which point the suspect then turned again, this time further towards the officer, flourishing him with that handgun. The officer discharged his weapon several times.
The officer shot the suspect at least twice. No officers were hurt.
He don't do drugs, he don't have them.
The man's furious girlfriend says at the time of the shooting, her boyfriend had their 1-year-old daughter and 2-year-old son in the back seat of the car.
He was trying to make his way back home with his kids when all of this happened for no reason, out of nowhere.
The regular protocol will apply. The officer will be drug screened. All the body camera units have been seized.
Now, police tell us they recovered that gun. They also say the suspect underwent surgery this afternoon and he's expected to survive. We're live downtown. I'm Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
Tonight, a St. Louis man is headed to prison for the next 120 years for producing child sex abuse material. A judge handed down that sentence to 44-year-old Anthony Lemesey today. A jury found him guilty back in March. Prosecutors say he recorded himself sexually abusing the child and took videos of 2 other children in the shower. Lemesey was arrested in Tacoma, Washington. FBI agents found him hiding in a clothes dryer. A St. Charles water treatment facility is back in operation right now. The city closed its last well at the Elm Point water treatment plant earlier this week because of a drop in free ammonia levels in the water. The chemical compound helps disinfect the water. A new inspection found those levels are back to normal. Only 1 of the 7 wells at that plant are still used due to ongoing contamination from an Ameren substation. Tonight, parents at an all-girls charter school are voicing their frustrations after the school's abrupt closure less than 1 week before the new school year. Hawthorne Leadership School for Girls focused on STEM curriculum for grades 6 through 12, and leaders blame low enrollment, among other things, for this closure. At least one parent we talked with today says she was disappointed by the school's promise to help them find new schools.
All I saw was an opportunity to go to another St. Louis public school. I needed more options. There's a lot of things that I need to do in order to get my baby ready for school next week.
Washington University, which sponsored the charter school, said it supports the difficult decision made by the school's Board of Trustees. Students in Edwardsville headed back to school this morning. Tomorrow, students in Lebanon and the Grant Community Consolidated District near Fairview Heights return to class. Missouri public schools start next week, and we've put together a back-to-school guide at KSTK.com. Just text the word school to 314-425-5355. We'll send you a link. Kids returning to the classroom can also mean the return of spreading germs. One thing most students bring to and from school carries the most bacteria. Tonight, our Verify team reveals which item is one of the germiest. Here's Jeremy Baker.
Germs can lurk almost anywhere, not just on our bodies, but on non-living objects as well. That leads us to tonight's claim. Is it true that the backpack is one of the germiest things that a child brings to and from school? Our sources for this Verify are Dr. Mandy Tibble-Svatek, a pediatric hospitalist with University Health and associate professor with UT Health San Antonio, and Chris Pritchett, an associate professor with the Department of Microbiology at East Tennessee State University. Dr. Svatek said backpacks are a perfect place for germs to be transferred from one child to another.
The hands touch the backpack, and if several individuals are touching the backpack, or For instance, lunch boxes go into the backpack. You are exchanging items with friends or getting your hands on different things, putting them in your mouth. All of those items can take bacteria and then transfer them to the backpack.
Pritchett echoed what Dr. Svatek had to say with, there's lots of nooks and crannies in a backpack, and because there's lots of nooks and crannies, they pick up some of the bacteria on the floor. Whether it's on the bathroom or schoolroom floor, then there's always the potential that they're bringing some of that home. So yes, it is true. The backpack is one of the germiest things that a child brings to and from school. Dr. Tipple-Svatek also recommended wiping the backpack down daily and making sure your child carries sanitizer as well.
What can we verify for you? Send us your question or the claim you see online and you're not sure, is it real or fake? The email address, verify@kstk.com. Today was Governor's Day at the Illinois State Fair. The buzz among Illinois Democrats is next year's race for president. The DNC is holding its convention in Chicago next summer, and if for some reason Joe Biden is not on the ticket, Governor J.B. Pritzker would have a home field advantage. Illinois voters at the fair weighed in.
Congressman from Minnesota, Dean Phillips, said J.B. Pritzker should run for president. What do you think about that?
I think he should. He's good.
You don't want Joe Biden?
For president.
Even right now in 2024?
Right.
So no more Biden?
No more Biden.
I would like for him to leave Illinois, but I'd rather him not run the country.
Pritzker says he supports President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris in 2024. Tomorrow is Governors, Legislators, and Judges Day at the Missouri State Fair. 5 on Your Side political editor Mark Maxwell will be there as Governor Mike Parson and other high-profile politicians make stops at the fairgrounds in Sedalia.